September 1st of 2008, I was on a bike ride with my wife and one of her sisters and her sister's husband, and we had ridden our bikes around the Parkway system in Minneapolis, about 20-25 miles. And we got to the end of the bike trail, and I was the last one to get into the end of the trail, and my wife looked at me, and when I got off my bike, and she said, "Do you feel okay?" And I said no, and I dropped dead. I fell flat on my face, had a sudden cardiac arrest. I got to the hospital, they put me in a coma for 3 days, cooled my body temperature down, which is supposed to aid in healing. And then they put in an implanted cardioverter defibrillator, which I have right here. And this is monitoring my heart 24/7. And if I were to go into ventricular fibrillation again, this thing would give me the shock that the AED does.
I've been on the fire department for over 10 years. I've been working on the HeartSafe program for about a year and a half. We started in July of 2014. I wanted to become involved with this program. I was inspired by Officer Brian Ploss from the HeartSafe Coon Rapids program. He's a childhood friend, and every time I ran into him, he was telling me about what was going on with the Coon Rapids HeartSafe program. And I would follow his Facebook page and see what kind of things are going on. And I saw a video where a student from one of his classes actually saved somebody's life. And that's what inspired me to start the East Bethel HeartSafe program. Inspires me to train the people in our community to make it a safer community. And our ultimate goal is that someday somebody that we have trained will save somebody's life.
Well, now we know that if my grandpa had a cardiac arrest, I can save him, or anyone.
What I want them to know is to, first of all, stop and do something. That's the first thing we want. Well, stop and do something, to immediately call 911 if they look dead, and to get a defibrillator and use the defibrillator if they can. And I want them to be aware that the smartphone is a real good app. There's all kinds of applications now that are on the smartphone that can help them do what we're training today. They could do CPR on the smartphone and Google, and you've got everything we're teaching you today. So it's be aware, be compassionate, and stop and save people. This sudden cardiac arrest affects all walks of life.
It was cool to hear the stories of people who actually went through it and are survivors of cardiac arrest.
I thought it was cool because they were dead before in their life.
Today they've learned a lifelong skill. It's something that hopefully, and like I mentioned to the groups earlier, 1 in 4 people at some time in the general population, 1 in 4 will witness a sudden cardiac arrest at some point in their life. We don't know which 25% of the population that's going to be, so we want everybody to have the skills that these kids just learned. That if they recognize somebody falls flat on their face, they're turning funny colors, they're not breathing, technically they're dead, they're probably in sudden cardiac arrest. And you need to get 911 called as quickly as possible. You need to get a defibrillator if there's one available, and you need to start doing chest compressions to keep that person's blood circulating.
What we're hoping that they learn is how easy it is to do bystander CPR and how to use an AED. We want to give these people the confidence to take action in the face of a medical emergency. That's what we're hoping. HeartSafe East Bethel was the unit that was working with high school to do this training this year, and in future years, St. Francis HeartSafe will be doing these trainings with assistance from East Bethel. That was one of the goals for HeartSafe East Bethel, is to, in our second year, is to get more communities in Anoka County going on the program. So we're working closely with St. Francis, with Bethel, and with Ham Lake to get their HeartSafe programs up and running.
Sudden cardiac arrest, I had no idea what that was. I knew what a heart attack was, but I didn't know. So I became educated with a cardiologist in time, and went out, and ever since, so it's 14 years now, I started a group of survivors. I called people that were survivors like myself. We got together, and we go around and try to treat thousands and thousands of people in Minnesota now with good CPR and the use of the defibrillator.
I learned how to do CPR. Yeah, with and the AED, how to use those. Not with your mouth, with your hands. Yep.
Yeah, we watched a presentation on what it looks like when someone has cardiac arrest, and then we got to do some CPR if someone stop breathing, and then I got to use a defibrillator.